Yo, what's going on, guys? Evan Tanaka here, back with another video. Today's video is episode 2 of I rate your teams and give you guys suggestions and improve your guys' team to make your team better overall. So guys, this is episode 2. We got, I think, maybe 8 to 10 teams right here. So if you guys want to be in a future video, message me on Twitter at EvanTanaka10 on Twitter. Message me your team, how much MT you have, and you'll be in the next episode for sure. I'm always looking for new people's teams. Every time I get 5 to 10 people's teams, I'll make a new episode. And I'm posting on my TikTok at EvanTanaka2K when I'm looking for the teams. So make sure to follow me on there to see if I'm posting or not, or if I'm looking for teams or not. If you guys are new here, it'd mean a lot to me if you guys could go down below and hit the subscribe button. On the road to 300 subs right now. But yeah, anyways, let's get right into the video, episode 2 of this I Rate Your Team series. So, first team we got here is from Easton. I'm just going to show Twitter. So he says he's 100 KMT for Friday. He runs ML Car and Kawhi on ball, and he's getting Wilt this week. So we know he's getting Wilt. So first thing we're going to do is take out Josh Smith, in my opinion, and we're going to put Wilt. And then I'm going to put Josh Smith back over Gus because I think Josh Smith is better than Gus. But we may change that. I'm just saying this is what I would do at the start if he's getting Wilt. So we got this team, and we got 100K to work with. Honestly, this team is really solid. The only thing I would do in my preference is I would switch IT over Rose. But again, if you want to position it a certain way, you know, go for it 100%. Now, the reason why I would do that too, Easton, if you're listening, is because, well, of course you should be listening. Because here you have such good defense. I think you should balance it out a bit more and go with this type of lineup. But the only thing is, I see if you're talking about Rose and Mutombo, I see what you mean. So now, honestly, you're probably right, because if that's the reason, is because you don't want, if you're using Rose, you kind of want to have a popper. I use Rose and Wilt, and I feel like they do fine, but it'd probably be nice if you have Rose and Dikembe, to be honest with you. Now that I see it, so now I'm going to keep that there. You got 100K to work with. I'm not the biggest fan of Vince, but I know you like Vince. Elmo Car's great. Mutombo's great. Like, all these cards are great. Like, it's very hard for me to make a suggestion here. Let me see. So you only have 100K because I'm thinking about getting LeBron. Because if you have LeBron, then you're looking pretty good. But if you sell Josh Smith, okay, how about this, Easton? If you sell Josh Smith, you think you can get yourself a LeBron? Because if you sell Josh Smith and pick up LeBron, you said you're going for quals, right? No, you're not saying you're going for quals. You might be, but you say you're not. I would do this. I would sell Josh Smith, try to accumulate as much MT as possible, and pick up Glenn. And if you still need MT, I really recommend LeBron. Like, I really suggest LeBron. That even I would suggest selling Kawhi and putting in Pippen. Like, if you really don't have enough MT, I really recommend that. Especially if you're going for quals, I would do that if you need to sell Kawhi. But if not, if you have enough MT when selling Josh Smith, and I really think you should get LeBron, I would probably run it like that. You don't have Melo, I'm assuming, because Melo will be perfect here. But you don't look like you have Melo. So, honestly, I think this is a really good team. Again, Pippen if you need to sell Kawhi. That'd be my suggestion, is just pick up LeBron. He's going to help your team so much. There's something else. Your team is really solid. I forgot to rate your team at the start, Easton. So before, your team was about, I'd say, a 9. I think adding LeBron and making a few changes will make it a 9.5. Maybe even a 10. Pretty good team. So yeah, that's Easton squad. Thank you for sending your team. On to the next team. Next team we got here is from Milt. I think that's how you say his name. I'll pull up his, Twitter. So he says he's got 300K to spend, and this is his team. So we put this team into 2KDB. So we got 300K to spend with this team. Now, rating it first, because I got to remember to do that. I like everybody but Tom Chambers, Marcus Johnson. I like everyone else. So I'm going to give this squad an 8. A lot of good cards. Just your 2 cards there that are just, I cannot justify. And some other cards, I think with 300K, you can really upgrade. So firstly, I'm going to say LeBron James over Tom Chambers. If I can delete Tom Chambers out of the lineup, that would be nice. But I think LeBron James, he has a super solid card. He's, I think, best power forward in the game. One of the best cards in the game. Now, guys, you may look at LeBron's animations and stats and badges, be like, well, Grindhail's better, or he's not even that good. He's just a demon, bro. His blocks are just like, his animations, he just plays so much better than his stats and badges say. Anybody that has LeBron will agree with me. Now, I do not like Serge Ibaka at the power forward, so I'm going to move him to power forward, center, and get rid of Bob Pettit. Definitely going to get rid of Marcus Johnson. So we got 2 backup positions to fill. I'm going to put Glenn Robinson here. And I think you should be able to pick up Harden. Because, I mean, you got Wilt. So, I mean, shit, bro. If you can't pick up Harden, then there's got to be some sort of problem with your team. Because you have Wilt. So, unless you paid for him, then you should. Why did I put 2 Hardens? I meant to put Donovan Mitchell. So, Donovan Mitchell is another guy I'd recommend for your bench. Kuzi, if you like Kuzi, I would keep. But if you don't like Kuzi, I'd pick up, for price range, let me see. So Braun's about like 150 to 180. That's about like 200k. So yeah, we'll go Rose. Rose should be able to fit your price range. I think that's a really, really solid team. If you don't want to go Rose and you want to go a bit cheaper, I would go Fred, not Fred Brown. Jesus Christ, Fred Van Vliet, not Freddie Lewis. Man, this website gets me going sometimes. Fred Van Vliet or Drew Holiday as your backup point guard. Again, if you like Kuzi, you don't have to do any of this, but this is just my recommendations. If you're not the biggest fan of Kuzi or Kyrie, even Kyrie, if you want to keep Kuzi and get rid of Kyrie, I recommend you either pick up D Rose, Fred, and Drew Holiday. One of the three, obviously. But I think the main person, two people you need to pick up is LeBron, Donovan Mitchell, and get yourself a James Harden. Because now your starting lineup is really, really well balanced. It's a little offensive heavy, but has two really, really good defenders. Harden's glitched defensively. He's a good defender. Dale's pretty good defensively. Kyrie's lacking, but that's fine. Then bench, if you go Rose or Fred or Drew, you're going to have good defense with these two guys, but you also have good defense with Donovan, good defense with Gus, good defense with Glenn, and great defense with Serge Ibaka. He might get bullied inside, but he plays pretty good defense. So this team started at like an 8, I think I gave it. I'd give this team, honestly, if you're running Rose especially, maybe you go, I'd go Fred over Kyrie. So if you got MT, I'd go Fred over Kyrie. So if you look at this team, again, Kyrie is still a viable option if you don't want to buy Kyrie or buy Fred VanVleet, but this team is really, really solid, I think. I think this team is really, really nice. You're going to get Fred VanVleet's defense, which is insanely good. You got good offense off the bench. You got good defense all around. I think this team's a 9 flat, 9.0. So yeah, thank you, Milt, if that's how you say your name or whatever. Thank you for sending in your team. On to the next team. Next team is from that one Karen. We'll pull up the good old Twitter. I think he says he's looking for a backup center. By the way, I read all this, so I'm not just going to read it again. But he's looking for a backup center. He's got 185k. So you guys need to know that. So backup center, 185k. Okay, so I'm just going to look at this team and give you some suggestions. But firstly, I got to rate the team. So I don't like Marquise Johnson. I don't like TJ Warren. Draymond Green's good. I like everyone else. I'm going to give this team I don't know what your center's looking like, so I'll give your team an 8. Depending on your center, I'm going to give your team an 8. I think your team is pretty solid, but there's definitely some improvements that you can make. Firstly, it's going to be moving this Harden down to the shooting guard, and then putting Mitch Richmond up to the 3. And then I say get Donovan Mitchell, so that's about 30k taken away of our budget. So we got about 150k left to work with. I think your point guards are fine, especially for your budget range. So that starting lineup, I think, is pretty good. Off the bench, I'm just going to add Jay Crowder. I think... you know what? We can go Miles. Miles is solid. You have enough MT. We can go Miles. And then now we should have backup center like you said you're looking for. So let me think of that. I've heard great things about this Josh Smith at center. So I'm going to put Josh Smith at center. I think with the height of Darius Miles, Draymond Green, and Josh Smith, at those 3 positions, you won't get bullied. Trust me. It might seem like a small lineup, but trust me, you will not get bullied. If you really feel like that, you can do this. Rodman's perfectly fine at center. Josh Smith is perfectly fine at center. I think this is perfectly fine though. If you replace these guys and then put Serge back up here, because Draymond Green and Josh Smith can guard rebounds, and you got Darius Miles, who's 6'9" as well. So you got 6'9", pretty good at rebounding, 6'7", elite rebounder, and then 6'9", I think, or 6'8", but he's just an insanely good rebounder. So pretty good rebounding there. I think this team is really, really good. So we spent about 30k here, we spent about 10k here, and we spent about another 35k here. So we spent about maybe 70, 80k. I think that's pretty good. I don't want to spend too much MT for your team. So yeah, I think it seems really, really solid. If you want to get a different point guard, again, I would go Fred over Kyrie, but again, if you don't want to, then you don't have to. And if you really want to spend all of your MT, I'd probably pick up Rose if possible. But yeah, that's my suggestions for your team. That one, Karen, thank you for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from my man Raps Fan. I'm just gonna quickly go show off the Twitter. He says he's 160k in that team. So we're gonna look. So he's got 160k to work with. So first off, I'm gonna rate his team. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Peta at center. I like that. I don't like TJ Warren. So I give this team an 8.5. I think it's really, really solid. I think we should get rid of these two guys. I think these are 2 big replacements. He's 160k to work with. I've heard great things about Rodman at center. I think with how you run Josh Smith, I think you'll like that. You could even switch it to there, but I think that's perfectly fine. Because, Draymond and Serge, they play really, really well together. Now, what I would do for here, it's kind of tricky. You have 160k to work with. So, Raps Fan, I'm going to give you 2 options. I'd say if you could pick up an ML car, I think that'd be really, really nice. That bench would be really, really nice if you pick up an ML car. If you can't, I would either look at Pippen or picking up Darius Miles. So I'd say even a Jay Crowder if you want to go really budget. I think those are all great small forwards for your backup small forward. So I'd say if you can get ML Carr, try to get him, or Gus, definitely put him there. And if you can't get him, then either buy one of Pippen, Darius Miles, Jay Crowder. So yeah, if you spend your MT, we spent about maybe 40, 50K. If you buy one of these guys, maybe like 60K at the most. If you get ML Carr, you're only buying Josh Smith. If you really want to upgrade, again, you could go Rose if you really want to upgrade. But if not, keep Kyrie, or you could go Fred. Again, I like Fred over Kyrie. Or you can go Drew Holiday. So we'll take out Jay Crowder and we'll put Drew Holiday. So these are the guys I think you can replace for Kyrie if you want to. Because I think Fred's better than Kyrie. I think Drew's better than Kyrie, in my opinion. So I'd say this is what you should do. So you should pick up Dennis Rodman and put him at center. Try to get either Carr, Pippen, or Darius Miles, or Jay Crowder if you like him too. And then for backup point guard, try to pick up Fred VanVleet or Drew Holiday. So yeah, that team is very, very good. I think that bumps it up to like an 8.59. So yeah, I really, really like this team. Thank you, Rapsan, for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Classy King. Just going to check out his Twitter. So he sent in his team. He's got 35K, and that is his team. So 35K to work with isn't much. So rating off the bat, I'm going to give it a... I don't like Mitchell Robinson. I don't like TJ Warren. Some good overall players. I'm going to be realistic and give it a 7.5. It's a good squad. It's a solid, decent squad, but I would definitely get rid of these two guys. But with 35K to work with, it's going to be hard to do. I think if you don't have Dom done, okay, if you have Dom done, like at least the first one, put Draymond there. I think Draymond's great for that spot. If you don't have Draymond done, again, you got to listen. So if you don't have Draymond done, what I would do is put Darius Miles here and then pick up a Pippen, or I'm going to put as like a bench player, or pick up a Jay Crowder. I think for that small forward position would be... Oh, shit, you have Pippen. Sorry. I didn't see that. Try to get an ML Carr. And if you don't have ML Carr, pick up Jay Crowder. I think Jay Crowder is really solid at the small forward. And then for backup center, center's a lot of positions you guys are struggling with. So you got 35K MT. So if I'm giving you Jay Crowder or ML Carr, you're only spending about 5K. So let's say I got 30K to work with here. Center is a very hard position, but you can pick up Rodman for under 30K. I know I'm giving the same player, but Rodman is just a really, really solid center. I think he provides you pretty good defense, and your rebounding situation and defense is really solid. Your starting lineup I like a lot as well. Again, I would probably go Drew over Kyrie, but you don't have the MT, so you know what? Take Kyrie back. You're good there. So yeah, I gave your team about a 7.5. I think if you get ML Carr or Jay Crowder, honestly, and you add Rodman, and you have this team, I think it honestly goes up to like, you got rid of TJ Warren, you got rid of, I don't know who's there or who was here, Pippen or something, or I don't know, not Pippen, Pettit, I don't know, but anyways, that was like 7.5. I think this is a solid 8.5. I think this is a very, very good team. Again, if you had more MT, it could make it a lot better. But honestly, 8.5. This is a really, really solid squad. Thank you, Classy King, for sending in your team. On to the next squad. Next team comes in from Crispy Bread. He sent it to me on Twitter, of course. This is his team. He said he has 250K MT. So yeah, he's got a good amount of MT. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yep. So 250K MT we got to work with. He's already got a really, really good team. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Wendell, but everyone else I like, and I'm going to give this team an 8.5. I think if you replace Wendell and maybe fix a few more, like one or two more positions, I think this could be a solid 9 or 9.5. So yeah, I'm going to give this squad an 8.5 to start with. Again, what I would do is get rid of Wendell Carter Jr., and I would put in, if you have all of that MT, yeah, I'm just going to throw this out there. Dikembe is like the one player that if you literally just put Dikembe there and then put Serge there, that's literally all I have to suggest to you. But if you don't want to go that expensive, you did say you want to save, you're waiting for Friday drops. I think we get a Giannis card. So if you want to wait till Friday drops, Dikembe's price might drop on, oh, no, not this one. Dikembe's price might drop on Friday. So you could go with that. So if you want to spend, if you just want one player, I think this one player will generally just help your team a lot. But if you don't want to do that, your team is like this and you need a backup center. Again, I know I'm saying the same goddamn player, but either Rodman or I'm gonna give you another option, Josh Smith, are two really, really solid centers. I know they're small ball, but trust me, they play fine at center. They hold it down perfectly fine. So honestly, if you want to wait till Friday, I think you can either pick up Dikembe. I think you just need to change backup center. I like everyone else. And again, if you want to go Braun, if you just want that one player, like you could pick up Braun and Rodman and be really solid. So you could put Braun here, put Glenn here, and then put Rodman there, and then you're solid. Or you could go to Dikembe, and then you can go Rodman or Serge, right? You could do something like that. But what I would do, realistically, probably LeBron and Rodman are really, really solid. So again, these are three guys you can work with. You can work around there, but I say pick up LeBron, pick up Rodman, you're looking really solid. But again, if you just want that one player, pick up Dikembe Mutombo and put everything back to normal. And then you're looking really, really solid as well with Rodman is there. With Rodman there as, oh sorry, Serge is there as well. You don't have to pick up Rodman. That's a really, really solid team as well. So yeah, that's my suggestion for you, Crispy Ben. I think that team goes like a 9.5 with Dikembe or LeBron, or a 9. So really, really solid squad. Thank you for sending in your team. On to the next one. Next team in here is from George. I'm not sure if I should have put his last name or last thing. I'm not sure really what it is, but I'm just gonna call him George. So this is his team. He says he got about 120K. So let's look at his team. So right off the bat, he's got Melo, which is cool. He's got Al Horford, again, not the biggest fan of. Kelly Tripica, not the biggest fan of. Everyone else I do like, but I think Al Horford and Kelly Tripica really, really brings his team down. So I'm gonna give this team an 8 because these two cards are just very unusable in my opinion. So definitely gotta get rid of those two. Gonna put Serge to the starting backup center. Sorry. So we got these two positions to work with. He's got 120K. So I think what he could do is go here. Again, if you got ML Carr, I'd rather put ML Carr there. But I think picking up Donovan Mitchell will be really nice. If you can, I'm going to keep Griffith there. But if you can get ML Carr, I'd replace him over Dale Griffith. And then for this position, I'd probably... This one's a tough one. You could go Miles and go cheap. Not cheap, but you could go like, you know, still really good, but cheaper. I think that's honestly fine, though. I think there's no point to go crazy anywhere else. I think if you can go Carr here, or you can maybe pick up a Pippen. A lot of people like Pippen. So if you want to go Pippen instead, I think Dale Griffith is good, but at small forward, I'd maybe rather a Pippen or a Carr. So those are two options there. Even a Crowder is solid. But I think for backup power forward, I think Miles is really, really solid backup power forward. Now this team is very, very good. Yeah, I do like this team a lot. So yeah, this team was like, I think I gave it an 8. I think it seems like a 9 almost, maybe an 8.5, somewhere in between 8.5 and 9. Just got to upgrade a few positions. Just got to get rid of Kelly Tripica and I think it was Al Horford. And if you just replace maybe Dale Griffith with Pippen or ML Carr, this team could be very, very good. So thank you, George, for setting in your team. On to the next one. Next team here is from Evan Heiler. I'm just going to call it that. Again, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Shout out though your name. Your name's Evan, so that's always cool to see. So this is his team again. He doesn't say how much MT I have. But I'm just going to look on the top of the card. So he's got 240K. So we're going to work off 240K. Okay, so 240K, that's what we're just going to work off. So let me just think of some players. First off, guys, I do got to rate his team. So if he's running this team, again, I'm not counting the bench, of course. I don't like Kelly Tripica. I don't like Boone at the 2. I'm not the biggest fan of Jokic, but he's solid. I'm going to give this team an 8, a solid 8, because I'm not the biggest fan of Boone at the 2, and I hate Kelly Tripica so much. Blake's even not that good at power forward. So yeah, I give this team a 8. I think the first thing he should do is replace, again, he's got 240K, so I'd say the first thing he should do is replace Boone for Donovan Mitchell. I'd say if he can, again, guys, it's very easy to get Harden. Harden is such a good card on next gen, especially. I think replace Kelly Tripica with Harden is a big, big upgrade. I like Pippen, but I think if you can get an ML Carr, ML Carr is really solid. I'd play ML Carr over Pippen, but I do know people like Pippen, but I'm just gonna recommend Pippen. Recommend Carr. I'm not the biggest fan of Blake, so I'm gonna give you a couple options. You could go Miles, or you could go what I'd probably recommend and go with Gus from Triple Threat Online. He is very, very solid as well. So again, I'd either put Miles or put Gus instead of Blake. I would definitely get rid of Blake though. So yeah, this would be your team. Your starting lineup is really, really solid. Your bench is really good. If you want to spend some more MT, I'd go Fred or Drew Holiday over Kyrie Irving. Again, I just like those two better, so that's also something I'd recommend. But again, I really, really like your team. Get Harden, get Donovan Mitchell. I'd replace Carr with Pippen, and then try to add a Gus or Darius Miles to that power forward, and then maybe replace replace Fred and Drew Holiday, or replace Kyrie with Fred or Drew Holiday. So I think I gave this team an 8 to start. I think this team, especially if you get rid of Kyrie and you add Fred or Drew Holiday, and maybe if you get Gus and ML Carr, I could really see this team being a 9 or 8.5, to be honest with you. So thank you, Evan Heiler, for sending in your team. On to the next squad. The last team we got here is from Alex Plays My Team. He sent it to me on TikTok, so I can't pull that up, but he said he has 22 KMT to work with. And his squad, I would give a rating of probably, I like Gary Harris, I would say Evo him, of course. I like Darius Miles, I like Dame, I like Cade. But other than that, I'm not the biggest fan of everyone, so I give this team a 7, maybe a 7.5. I'd probably give this team a 7. It's just not very well-rounded. It's very kind of clustered off the bench, but I think I can make this team insanely good for how much MT you have. So let me look at some players and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've made some adjustments I think I'm gonna make right now. So Damian Lillard, fuck, we're not getting rid of Dame. Okay, I meant to do backup point guard. So for backup point guard, you have 22 KMT. If you can try to get a token reward player, I would suggest trying to get Ron Harper or trying to get Devontae Graham. So if you can get, let's say, Devontae Graham, I think that's a great pickup for you. I would probably slide Cade to the 2. I would sell Sean Elliott. So if you're listening to me, I would sell Sean Elliott and get some MT for him. So I'm going to take him out of the lineup. So I recommend you sell him. I like your starting 3. Your starting 3 is really good. What I would do is probably move Darius Miles to here, sell Elton Brand, and sell Bill Wan. Sell your Amethyst. You don't need Amethyst on your team. At least those Amethysts, right? And then at the 3, I would go Jay Crowder. He's maybe 2 to 3K. Maybe, let's just call him 3K. So far we spent 3K MT, so we got 19K to work with because he said he had 22K to work with. So we spent 3K, so we got 19K left. So center's going to be kind of tough, so I might come back to that. And what I'm going to do actually is put Cade there, and we're going to pick up Tyrese Halliburton. Again, he's 3K, maybe 4, so we'll say 3K again. So that's 6K MT to work with. We're getting rid of AI because he's not going to play the 4. We're getting rid of him. We're basically getting rid of all of your bench, okay? And then at the backup 4, we need a good power forward. Again, the big men are kind of hard for budget, to be honest. Big man budgets are pretty hard. So give me a second to look, and I'm going to think of some power forwards and centers for your team. So first one I would suggest is Siakam. He's around 7K MT. Put him at power forward. You could run him at center, but I'd say run him at power forward. So we spent 6K here. So we're at 13K. So we got about 9K left to spend for our 2 centers, which isn't the best. So yeah, let me think of the 2 centers and I'll get back to you. So the 2 centers I would suggest is starting Rick Smith. I think he's really, really good. Again, we had around 9K to work with. These players are definitely less than 9K. So I'd say pick up Lauri Markkanen and pick up Rick Smith. I truly believe this team went from like a fucking, I don't even know what I gave you, like a 7, 6.5 to honestly, this team's a solid 8. Solid 8. I really, really like this team. You know, on your bench, everybody can shoot pretty well. Your starting lineup, everybody can shoot, and then you got 7'4" Rick Smith who can shoot a mid-range, which is just insanely good. Yeah, that's it, guys, for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure if you guys have made it this far in the video to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for all the support, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.